going to work today is I'm going to say a few words from CWA Local 7250, our union representing AT&T workers in Minneapolis. And then we've got 5 other members of our local and people who work in the call center at downtown Minneapolis AT&T Tower who are going to step forward, take off their mask, and tell you a little bit about how this is impacting them. My name is Kieran Knutson, K-I-E-R-A-N K-N-U-T-S-O-N. I'm president of CWA Local 7250, and I'm here today because AT&T has issued a forced return to office order after 2.5 years of working from home. The work from home agreement allowed our members to be safe during the COVID-19 crisis. It's also allowed our members to have more quality time with their families, to get more sleep, to save money. And this forced return to the office impacts us because it's going to represent a cut in pay due to the inflated costs of gas and parking and other commuter costs. It's going to put us at risk for COVID-19 and other contagious disease. We know that in call centers around the country that have already been called back, that COVID has run rampant. We're in communication with Union Stewart in Houston, Texas, who tells us that on any given day, 25% of her coworkers are out on COVID leave. We know that in Missouri, we had recently at an AT&T payroll department, we had 30 people out on COVID leave. So we know that this epidemic is not over with, and it is reckless and irresponsible for AT&T to bring us back. I also want to say that in my 18 years in our union, I have never seen our members more united and more upset and more passionate about an issue. I want to show you a petition that we printed out today. This is a petition for a permanent work from home agreement. Over 7,650 people around the country, AT&T employees and their family, have signed this petition. So it is a mass demand, it is a popular demand, and AT&T has been able to give no credible business reason to return us to work. So there are a number of different issues about why work from home is important, and we're going to hear from a number of different people about different aspects of that. And we're starting off with our area vice president over the call center in Minneapolis, Charlie Hadia.
Good morning. My name is Charlie Hadia, and I have been a steward with CWA Local 7250 for over a decade. Since 2019, I have been the first point of contact for the company in all matters regarding discipline in our work location. And I can tell you definitively that the number one issue people are disciplined for in my office is attendance. A lot has changed since 2019, and not all for the worse. Our attendance numbers have gotten way better. After AT&T and CWA negotiated a work from home agreement in March 2020, our center's attendance numbers changed. People with allergies, asthma, and other chronic illnesses have been way more easily able to attend work when they are afflicted with those things. Workers haven't been catching or passing colds or flus, and we've been a lot happier, just in general. We've been very unhappy to learn that that's going to change soon, due to the company's quote-unquote next normal, which looks a lot like our past. Returning to the office doesn't make sense for workers. We're all a bit flummoxed to be explaining to our employers how much happier we've been being able to attend work in situations where we'd otherwise be absent. In early August, members of our local created and sent out a survey on a Google survey for work from home, return to office issues. As of today, we've received over 500 responses. 93% of respondents are currently working from home. The results are pretty clear. 78% of respondents said that they are unlikely to call out sick from mild illness while working from home. However, only 55% of respondents said that if they returned to the office, they would stay home for those same illnesses. When asked how concerned people are with catching COVID, 88% of people said that they're very concerned, and those previous numbers legitimize that concern. COVID-19 is still regularly presenting as minor colds and flus, and if people are coming to the office with those things, they're spreading those. And whether we're all vaccinated, our families might not be, and we might have immunocompromised people. We do have immunocompromised people that would greatly affect. We know, and our managers know, that we've had better attendance and better productivity consistently throughout the last 2.5 years while working from home. So we want to know, what is this return to the office really supposed to accomplish? The workers in my office, as well as in Texas, Ohio, California, Colorado, Tennessee, Illinois, Georgia, and other offices that haven't reached out to us, are all clearly stating that working from home is our new normal. And if you're going to change that for us, we want actual reasons why. Thanks.
All right. Next speaker is another employee from the AT&T Tower in Minneapolis, Chrissy Sims.
Hey, good morning. I'm calling, just to piggyback on what Charlie said. It is an issue of what is the reason for bringing us back into the office. You've heard stats from Kieran and from Charlie. My take on this is it's a safety issue. Us being here in the Union building, we're here because we can't be down on 9th and Marquette where our building is located, seeing as how most of us don't want to go back there because of the high crime. And as you've read in a lot of the local news, crime has been on the rise downtown. Just outside of our building, a woman was robbed. You had across the street, it was someone was murdered in a high-rise bus stop going the other direction. You have feds who raided a bus stop. So right now, a lot of concern with union members is safety. Safety because many of us take public transportation. And there's been a huge change in public transportation. Whereas before, we were allowed to get dropped off right across from the building. Now it's a 2-block walk. And being with the season changes, some of us are coming in while it's dark and going out while it's dark. There's many who get off at 5:30 and have a 3-4 block walk to the light rail, again, where there was another killing, to get to their bus. And so there's a huge concern with women and men of what do we do? Are we allowed to bring this or that? We've asked and it's been no. We asked, can we bring mace? Can we bring a taser? But it's a COC violation to bring those things into the AT&T building. So when we go downtown, we're going down there with the hopes of we'll be safe. Because there's really nothing the company can offer us as far as safety goes while we're inside the building. So in speaking with many of my coworkers, since the company has offered, one thing is to walk in pairs and to walk in groups when we go a block to Target on Nicollet Mall, where when we were in the office, many of us frequent because, hey, we're working in the office, and to be able to walk down to Target and get a quick groceries or whatever you need from there, then to bring it back home and even get on the bus with it, that was something that we would do, and we felt safe enough to do so. But now we don't feel that safety anymore in the building. So at this point, we do feel like what is the reason? And if you can't offer any type of real security, I think it would be safer for us to be at home where we're not making the commute, where we're getting there, we're still logging in on time, we're logging out on time, and we're in the safety of our own homes. And so that's where we feel comfortable. So this is what we're here. Me and my coworkers are here. We're fighting for that. We're fighting for our safety. Thank you.
Yeah. Chrissy. Our next speaker is a member of the CWA Work From Home Committee and a worker in the AT&T Call Center, Sarah Fry.
Thank you everyone who came out to join us today. I want to say a few brief words about finances. There's an idea out in the world that families were doing great before COVID, and that COVID payments sent out by the federal government were extra and unnecessary for middle class workers. That is not true. People have said that workers had the money for commuting before COVID and should have it now. But workers didn't have the money then, and the COVID assistance payments were a needed reprieve for families that were already barely getting by. workers at AT&T receiving 3% raises in April are being asked to pay increased costs for health insurance, child care, and mortgages. They're being asked to spend as much as $550 per month on commuting costs. And any employee who has a federal student loan in a COVID forbearance may expect to begin to start payments as soon as September or October. And all of this is happening in addition to the 8% inflation rate on general goods and services. We haven't had a meaningful raise in over 5 years. We didn't have the money before COVID, and we can't afford to go back to the office now.
Speakers, both from the AT&T Call Center. Our next speaker is Yolanda Olmo.
Yo.
7250. I've been working for AT&T for 14 years. AT&T had informed us that an extension for our work from home, they drew up a contract and gave us a return to work date of March 31st, 2023. The contract was signed, and we were told that our extension and that the extension that we were fighting for, we had won. But in less than 24 hours, AT&T came back and said they weren't going to honor that contract and that we would have to return to the office. I'm sorry. We have proven over 2.5 years that we are absolutely capable of doing this job from home. We've been safe. We've been healthy. Our families have been safe. Our families have been healthy. But you bring us into the cesspool, which is what the call center will be, we're all liable to get sick. I'm vaccinated and I'm boosted. And I've been out here and I have not caught COVID, not once. I've been exposed more than 20 times. My grandkids, my children, but I've never not once caught it. I'm afraid now you bring me back into the office and now I get sick. And then if I go over your quote unquote, AT&T's quote unquote COVID rules, I may be out and not getting paid. Or I may be out too long that they might terminate me. But you say that you need us to come back to the office for collaboration. Right. We are credit representatives that collect money. Why do we need to collaborate collecting money? Thank you.
Yeah. Our final speaker, our cleanup hitter today, is a CWA Local 7250 steward and a longtime worker at the AT&T Call Center, Angela Bates.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our press conference regarding returning to work. My name is Angela Bates, ANGELABATES. And I would first like to take a moment of silence for one of our co-workers that passed away from COVID. Her name was Dion Watkins. So we can all do that first. Thank you. Now I said a moment of silence and here comes the ambulance. But anyway, okay. So on Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022, we received notification that a work from home agreement had been extended until March 31st, 2023. Then on Friday, August 5th, 2022, we received notification that we were to return to work in staggered waves using inverse seniority starting in late September. Basically ignoring the fact that an agreement was made and signed between AT&T and CWA attorneys. Also, there are people in the office that chose not to work from home as it was voluntary. So I feel as if the people that want to be in the office are already there. So it's not as if the office is just vacant. There are people coming reporting into the office that would like to be there. There was no legitimate business reason as to why we were returning to the office, other than to see each other's faces and to help stimulate the local downtown economy. They used synergy and collaboration, and an AT&T spokesperson reported to The Guardian, which was an article regarding our return to work, is saying we do our best work when we do our best work when we're together. Well, to me, that sends a contradicting message, because for the last 2 years, or 2.5 years, AT&T employees have been more productive with higher numbers, higher attendance, performance, and increased profitability for AT&T and its shareholders. Yeah. So numbers don't lie, but people do. So there's a scripture that brings home the point that we're trying to make today, while we're even here, because I had to pray on this situation. It comes from Ephesians 6:12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Now, with that being said, we are fighting against the 1% who are in the higher realms of life and do not have to have direct contact with us, working class people, and they're trying to dictate to us, but they do not have to come in contact with multiple people, and they still have the option to work remotely. So there is no fear for them about crime, contracting COVID, and spreading it to their family. But we do, because you wanted us to be in each other's faces. Now we may not be able to be in our family faces. We rallied and collaborated with each other during the pandemic because we were uncertain, just like everyone else. But we are resilient, and we were productive at home to maintain our stats and beyond to secure our position for working from home. So there is still no legitimate reason to have to be forced back into the office. Angela Davis once said, you have to act as if it was possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all the time. Well, now is our time, because if we don't fight back now to prevent from going back into the office, we won't be able to, once we're all corralled, back into AT&T. And in my closing, I just want to say we need AT&T to make it make sense. Thank you. Period.
Make it make sense.
Make it
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make.
Anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to take questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming out today.
So
Thank you.
your main issues are the child care, the expenses of the world, the gas, and there's no legitimate reason they've given you to come back to the office.
Yeah, along with the continued threat of COVID inside the office and
The downtown safety.
Downtown
Downtown
safety.
You guys maybe just sum that up again, like that's your main point, right?
Yep.
There's no reason they've given you a crime, and you guys have done just as well at home.
We've done better at home, in fact.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I could just put one of you guys aside after all this.
Yeah.
If you got more to say, go ahead.
No. Yeah, just to summarize again, what our members spoke about today were the reasons why work from home continues to be important to us. Number one, COVID and other contagious diseases are still a threat to our health and safety, and we know that in offices that have already returned, that they've been widespread and people have been impacted by it. We know that many of our members have concerns about downtown crime. We know that people worry about public transit and getting to and from downtown, and that it's unnecessary for them to have to do that because they can do so successfully at home. We know that this will be a de facto pay cut for all of us because of the elevated inflated cost of gasoline that's required to do commuting. And we know that our quality of life will be hurt because we won't have as much time with our families, as much time to sleep, as much time and as much control over our workplace. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And anybody, if any of these folks who spoke would be willing to answer questions as well.